So I think, yes, we're live. Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to the first episode of House Polished. This is our little slice of the internet where if you are a nail polish addict and you are also a fan of Game of Thrones, then stick around. We're going to be discussing Game of Thrones. We're going to be having weekly chats about the episodes. So we're going to be looking at season 7. Tonight we're going to discuss the trailer. So we've had 2 trailers, but we're going to mainly be discussing the second trailer that's been up recently. And we're going to have some questions and answers. So feel free to say hello in the chat and ask us some questions. And let's make a start. So what we're going to do is tell you what our favorite Game of Thrones polish is. And we're also going to tell you the one key thing that we're really excited about for season 7. So over to you, Catherine.
I wasn't expected to go first. Hello, everybody. I'm Catherine, or Mrs. Cronall. I'm going to go with my polish. I actually have it ready here. So I'm not sure if you can tell the color of that, but this is Wear It Like Armor from Cadillacer, and I think you have this, Claire, am I right? Yeah, so this is like, it's a pinky base, but there's a touch of purple in it. Claire will correct me on this now because she's the color queen. And then there are copper glitters in it, so you can just see it there. And this is my favorite Game of Thrones polish, but it's also one of my favorite quotes from the book and the show. Because I just think it's a great, like, little, what would you call it, affirmation maybe, or something like that, from Tyrion when he says that to Jon. I think it really sets up their characters. And did you ask what we're looking forward to?
Yeah, so what?
I lost you. I can't hear you. Ah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, just one thing that we're going to be discussing a lot about the trailer, but one key thing that you're really excited about for the next season.
So I'm sure nobody's going to say this because it's a really weird thing to say. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Dothraki in Westeros. I think it's going to be really surreal. So yeah, that's it. I just want to see Dothraki in the cold.
And Lisa.
Hello. So I have my nail polish here. This is Nothing Burns Like the Cold. I just got this from Cadillacer. It is nice icy blue. I picked this one because winter is here finally, so it's going to be nice and cold, so I figured this would be a perfect option. So that's what I picked for my nail polish. And what am I most excited for? I think the Lannisters and the Targaryens, the big clash that we're expecting to see between the 2 houses. That's what I'm most looking forward to so far. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, my polish is, I think we've all got Wear It Like Armor. Am I right? Have you got that one as well, Lisa? No? I don't know. Yeah, we've all got some polishes from that Cadillacer collection. So I've picked, my polish is Polish Me Royalty, which is a UK indie brand, and I don't know if you can see in the camera there. It's a kind of steel grey, so it reminds me of the North, and it's full of holographic glitters. I've actually used quite a bit of this, and it's called, probably got that upside down, it's called Knows Nothing. Don't know if you can see that. So that's what Ygritte says to Jon all the time, that he knows nothing. So this is I love this one. That's my favourite Game of Thrones polish. And I think, there's a lot of things that I want to see in the next season. I think I won't choose the obvious one about Dany arriving, because I think everyone's been really looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing, because I think it may happen, that we get to see Casterly Rock as a location. So that would be really, really exciting. Looking forward to that. So welcome to House Polished. We're going to be with you every week, as I said. And this is a kind of short introduction to our series. And what we're going to do is discuss I'm not going to, I hesitate to say breakdown, but let's just have a discussion about what we've seen in the trailer and what we feel about what we might be seeing. Now, before we get into the second trailer, I just want to do a quick reminder of what we saw in the first one, which is two key things really that came from that first trailer. So we have Cersei on the map with Jaime, and she's talking about enemies to the east, to the west, to the south and the north, and you get little clips of Grey Worm, obviously representing the east, coming into Westeros. We get a very quick flash of Euron on his boat, so that's representing coming in from the west, and then we get flashes of the map of the north and the south. And then we also get Davos. So these are the kind of speaking over the very quick flashy clips. Davos talking about we either band together or we die. So there's going to be, we can already see that there are going to be lots of potential alliances and battles. So I'd like to just mention at this point that all three of us are spoiler free in terms of what's going to be happening for the next season. So up to now, all we've seen are both trailers. So if you're in the chat, and I don't know how to get my channel up on my phone, but I will try and find it. If we could avoid talking about plot lines and spoilers, that would be fantastic. So that's, do either of you want to say anything about the first trailer at all?
I'm actually really interested to see what happens with Jorah. I know I said this to you guys that he's missing from the second trailer, but just that shot of his arm coming out, really creepy. And it's one of my favorite things from the books that they haven't really gone into too much detail in. I know a lot of people don't like it, the spread of disease and things like that, but I think it's really interesting with where that storyline is going to go in the show. And yeah, especially with Shireen and stuff, the history of grayscale and things like that. And that's the thing from that. And also there was a shot of Dany, which it looked like she was surrounded by dragon glass. So what they're going to do with that, will they get that information north somehow? Will someone discover? Will it be a kind of a mix between Sam discovering that you can use dragon glass, or did Mira use dragon glass as well? No, it's just Sam. Just Sam, yeah. And then of course we have Mel down there too. So will it be Mel or Sam, or a combination of the two that managed to get that information north? And will Mel sacrifice herself to get that north? So they're the two things from the first trailer that I kind of didn't pick up on in the second trailer. So because there's just so much in the second trailer. But yeah, that's about all from the first trailer. That, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're tied together. And as you said, we were just chatting, we were having a little pre-chat before we went live, and Catherine was saying it's important to remember that the trailers are set up to deliberately kind of mislead us, really. So you'll hear somebody talking and then they'll flash to, well, this is who they may be talking to, but invariably when you're actually watching the show, it's something completely different. So it's just giving us little tasters, really, just to get us excited. And I am super, super, super excited, particularly for this season, because I know we're only going to get 6 episodes, but the episodes are going to be longer. I believe they're going to be about 80, 90 minutes. So I think it's going to feel like an epic, you know, Hollywood film every single week. So that's going to be amazing. And I'm sure we'll be having some really interesting chats when we do the weekly reviews. So feel free to jump in, Lisa, if you've got anything to add before we get to the second trailer.
The only thing that I was thinking about with the first trailer is, remember we were talking about Cersei on the neck and the map? That I think may be interesting with her, the whole prophecy thing going on too. So yeah. Is she gonna get strangled?
Well, I think what would be interesting is if we try and have a stab at, no pun intended, some maybe some death predictions before we finish our discussion tonight, and then we can see at the end of the season when we get to the finale, were we right? You know, did we get any predictions at this stage before we even get into the show? Did we get any of the predictions right? I think that'd be quite interesting. So I'll write them down, and of course it's going to be on the internet as well.
Maybe folks in the chat would like to let us know their predictions at the end, and we can all compare notes then at the end of the season.
Feel free to. We've got here P. Samid Sand, who said they were going to ask us who we think is going to die this season. So we'll give some predictions if you stick around, and we'll see if we can predict some of those. And again, feel free to ask any questions, chip in, and so let's get cracking on the second trailer. So it was a little bit longer than the first one. I find it really difficult to see, even though I'm trying to slow it down and I'm trying to see what's going on and who's who and what's what. It just goes so fast. We open up with Sansa, and obviously she's got Littlefinger's words in her ears, as ever. But one of the big things for me that I like about this trailer, as opposed to the first one, is the music. That music is so haunting. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's the same music that was the lead up to the big wildfire explosion. Just gives me goosebumps. It's just the music itself is just fabulous. So yeah, straight away I'm excited already as soon as I hear those opening bars in the second trailer.
What do you think the significance is of that, Claire? Do you think it's the music, it's the fallout from what Cersei has done?
Yeah. It's leading up, isn't it, into it's kind of like the theme music for Cersei. It must like follow around everywhere around King's Landing. But yeah, one of the things that struck me in that very first clip where we see Sansa walking through, you can see the weirwood behind her, and Littlefinger is saying, don't worry about where you're fighting the battle in the north, the south, wherever. Fight the battle in your mind, everywhere in your mind. And you can just see her kind of looking over her shoulder as if she's paranoid. So he's there constantly to be making her paranoid, which again makes me think, we got a little hint of this at the end of last season, that he was going to be stirring up a bit of trouble between the siblings. So at the moment, we've got in the north, we have Sansa and Jon. And last season, that was such a delightful reunion between the two of them. It was just, oh, finally we get some Starks back in Winterfell again, and we can see them mobilizing. But this show has a tendency to kind of pull the rug from under us. So, we've got this potential of this wonderful Stark reunion. You can see Arya in the trailer, on the horse. It looks like she's heading towards somewhere. Hopefully it's going to be Winterfell. Bran is going to be, I think, possibly heading to Winterfell. So we could have a scenario where we have Jon, Sansa, Arya and Bran, the remaining Stark siblings, mobilizing together in Winterfell, which sounds wonderful. But at the same time, we also know that Sansa has got Littlefinger whispering in her ear. So what do you think about that?
sorry, Lisa, if you want to jump in, jump in. Are you? I'm not 100% sure he's saying that to Sansa. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he's saying that to Jon, because that's something actually in the first trailer. There's a shot of Jon choking him in the crypts. So I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Bran to telling Jon about where he comes from. I think that would pull the rug under the book readers, out from under the book readers and the show watchers. We'll all be expecting it to be Bran to tell Jon about Lyanna, and it'll be Littlefinger. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think, like, this is kind of jumping ahead, but I think that'll be one of the reasons why Jon might go north of the wall. He might go looking for confirmation of that with Benjen, maybe, because Benjen would be the only living person to know that. But I think you're right. I think either way, Littlefinger is going to try and divide the siblings more, and it'll be interesting. Like, do you think he'll be still in the picture when Bran and Arya show up? Because that would be interesting for Arya.
Well, it could be that Arya is the person. I think, are we all in agreement that this might be Littlefinger's last season? I think probably. I mean, like I say, we've only got 2 seasons left, so people are going to have to start falling, and I would imagine that Littlefinger's head is on the chopping block if the Stark children start getting together. So it could actually be Arya, and we don't know. I mean, we've just seen 2 possibly 3 very brief clips of Arya in both trailers. It could be that she turns up at Winterfell and she looks, she's changed her face and she looks completely different. I mean, she's been away for a long time and she's been the lone wolf. And if she's coming back to the pack, then maybe she would. If I was in her position, I might be disguised as a faceless man just to get a lay of the land and find out what's going on, who's in charge here, And we've also got to remember, if Bran does make it back, I don't think it's going to be necessarily as happy as they all get round the table for a nice feast and a catch up. I think it's going to be. I mean, they've shot up, they've grown up in the they've advanced in years and years in the TV show. We know in the books they're still very young. And the 2, I mean, just as a caveat, Catherine and I are both book readers. Lisa is a show watcher, so I think that's going to be really interesting to get our take on the episode reviews as we go forward. But yeah, I think that it's not going to be as easy as everyone getting together and having a happy reunion. And the other thing that you've got to remember is, if Bran does make it back to Winterfell and reunites with the other Stark kids, it could be that Lyanna Mormont and all of the other Northern Lords, that, oh, we didn't realise that you were still around, Bran, and actually you are the legitimate heir to Winterfell. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Jon's still King of the North? Does that mean his position? I mean, basically, who's going to be who? Is Sansa going to be left in Winterfell to just kind of hold things together in the north while Jon goes off and fights his battles? Is there going to be a kind of jockeying around for positions of power between the children themselves? It's interesting.
I see that. I'm so sorry. P-Sand, I'm going to say, because I'm going to butcher your name, I'm afraid. Has a bad feeling that Arya and Jon will never meet again, and I kind of have a similar feeling. And I feel, Claire, that, and maybe you agree with this, Lisa, it might be a bit anticlimactic, because they've all seen a sibling die except for Bran now at this stage. And we had the two least connected Starks come back together last year, and it was just the most emotional thing. It's going to be hard to. And also, Bran is basically coming back into this situation as a god. Like, he's omnipotent. Like, he's almost like he's different. And Arya is coming back as an assassin. Like, and Sansa and Jon are coming back as royalty. It's a very different kind of situation. I don't know what your take is, Lisa, on that.
It's a good point with Bran being the three-eyed raven now. Like, he has that status. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I don't know what to take of that. I really don't.
Do you think Bran could? Do you think Bran could send Jon north? Do you think Bran might see something that Jon should be doing north?
That's a very good point with him. You know, with the whole warg, he might see something and say, you know, time to go north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have
especially if somebody has let them know about the dragon's glass in Dragonstone, put the two and two together, he goes, because I think in part of the trailer he is in Dragonstone. It looks like Jon is in Dragonstone. So is he there for the dragon glass to go north? I don't know.
Yeah, and it could be that, I find it very hard to see why if Jon and Arya do meet, why would he ever leave her again?
Yeah.
Unless he can't cope with the person she's become, unless he can't cope with everything that's happened to the Starks, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially because he really isn't a Stark anymore.
Well, if he finds that out, that's the annoying thing, and this happens in the books a little bit, Lisa. When Jon finds out something traumatic, he tends to go off on one a little bit. So that's what I'm worried. Is he going to have like this pubescent crisis of identity and have to go off again?
Moody teenager syndrome.
Yeah. But we might get a new man bun out of it. Oh, you're muted, Claire.
Sorry. We will get used to this as we go forward doing the episodes. We'll be very slick by the time we get to the finale, I'm sure. Let's leave Winterfell for now. We can always come back and revisit it, and let's have a look at what might be happening, what we think might be happening in King's Landing. So we've got Cersei has taken the throne, and in the trailer you can see, again, add to this because I don't think I'm seeing half of what everybody else is seeing. It's just all too quick for me. It looks like there are mobs in King's Landing. Now I don't know whether that's just, you know, the people that, you know, the people who live in King's Landing, whether they're, you know, there's an uprising against Cersei being the queen. We were talking before about, you know, I mean, I suppose we can talk about Cersei and Daenerys here at this point because there's potentially two queens thrown into the mix here. Do you have any predictions at all about how you think things might go between Cersei and Jaime? He was giving us some kind of dubious looks. All of the children have died now. So it's literally, you know, she's saying we're the only two Targaryens left that matter.
Lannisters.
Sorry, yeah.
Unless you're buying into something, Claire.
that's deep book theory.
That was Freudian.
Yeah, we're the only two Lannisters left.
The mobs in King's Landing. The Tyrells were bringing food into King's Landing, right? So it could very well be that she can't feed the people, and also like she's blown half the city up. So that could be something Euron brings to the table, like supplies, food, security.
Well, there's the Queen of Thorns, Lady Olenna, who would still, I'm sure, presumably have some influence in Highgarden, where all, you know, the abundance of food which has been shipped previously to King's Landing. I'm pretty certain that with the, you know, the Cersei blowing up her grandchildren is going to be sort of stopping the food chain supply. So that's going to cause problems in King's Landing. But yeah,
But Cersei has also blown up like most of the court, like most of the aristocracy in King's Landing, and her own uncle. So she's also a kinslayer now.
Yeah.
So I can't personally. I don't know where Lisa's gonna stand on this. Personally, and you, Claire, you might not like it. I don't think the Lannisters are long for this world. I think Tyrion will be the last one by the end of this season. Personally. Yeah.
Well, that would be nice. That would be nice.
Tyrion's the only one I like.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not so sure about. I'm really not sure about Jaime. There's a shot, isn't there, where he's kind of. It looks like he's riding through a field of fire, and there is another shot where you can see the Lannister troops. You can see the Lannister colours. So whether or not Jaime's leading the Lannister troops and something happens, that I don't know. I would love to see it being Cersei's last season, but I've got a feeling that she's probably going to sneak into season 8. One of the things that I was going to ask you about sort of alliances with Cersei, and going back to that quote about enemies coming from the east, west, etc. There was I managed to kind of pause it at the trailer at a place where it looks like there are lots of, you can see the Iron Fleet, and in the background you can see a castle, and I was looking, I can't figure out whether that's King's Landing or whether it's Castle Rock or Dragonstone. So has anybody got any ideas about where they think the Iron Fleet are heading? Did you see that clip with the castle in the background? What do you think?
I feel like it's King's Landing, but
right.
It would make sense. There seems to be shots of Unsullied in somewhere that has Lannister sigils. So, and there's also a shot of Jaime walking away from a wall with a body on the ground. Did you notice that one? It's a wall. It's like a fort looking out to sea, and there's like it's as if he's just killed somebody or he's just arrived where some attack has been. So unless Euron is sent to Casterly Rock to kick Dany out, I'm not sure. It'd be great if we could see Casterly Rock, though.
I think we are going to see Casterly Rock this season. I really do.
Oh, I hope so. That would be great. I just want to pause and say hello to Marie. So Game of Thrones, Game of Theories with Marie. She's here in the chat. So hello to you, Marie. And she's saying that she thinks Cersei will definitely be in season 8. So yeah, she's just too good a character to, you know, you love to hate her, really, don't you? It's going to be difficult for there to be any redemption whatsoever for Cersei.
And they need to get value out of that new crown they've made for her as well. So.
Yeah. What else? So let's swing on by to Dragonstone. Wow. So finally, Daenerys arrives in Westeros. Well, at the end of the last season, though, when she was on the ships with Varys, that's an interesting point, actually. I don't know if anybody else. I didn't see Varys at all in any of the clips for the trailers, so I don't know what's happening with Varys. But it looked like at the end of last season that they were heading to Dawn, and I don't know.
Yeah, he was coming from Dorne. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's some fleet she has coming to Dragonstone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we in our little pre-live chat, I was saying how indestructible she's going to be. She's just unstoppable as a force. I mean, and Lisa made the point that we might jump forward in time a little bit because we need to have Euron build his ships. We need to have other things happen. But I feel, and I this is maybe going into tinfoil theory, but I feel that something has to happen with Dany for her to be weakened in some way. Otherwise, it's not a fair fight, and it's not going to make for a very interesting series. Like I don't know how many more scenes we can have of Dany coming out of a fire.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's going to happen in Westeros.
Yeah.
So I'm buying into the belief that Missandei will betray her in some way, that something has to happen for her to be hurt in some way in order to slow her down. Because I unless Euron has some magic behind him, I don't know. They didn't play that up last season, so I don't see how they can just suddenly introduce that. Or unless he manages to get a dragon, one of her dragons. I don't know. I think something, by the way, I think we've lost way too many direwolves. So I think a dragon is going to have to go down in this season. I feel like she's going to have to lose a dragon, or something's going to have to happen. I'm sorry, Lisa. Am I hurting you?
Wow. So we've got what have we got so far? We've got Littlefinger, we've got a dragon.
I'm just killing everybody.
You're worse than George.
Actually, it came up on my Facebook today. 3 years ago today, we met him. Yeah. So I couldn't believe it was 3 years. Yeah, I got him to sign this map here.
Did you ask him any questions?
So my husband went ahead of us, and you were allowed to ask him one question. And my husband went ahead of us, and he decided he wasn't going to ask him a Game of Thrones question. He asked him, because my husband teaches maths and physics, and he asked him, was he any good at maths in school? And George got completely distracted answering that stupid question. But he wasn't even listening to me. Bloody husbands.
So if you'd have managed to get your question out, what question would you have asked him?
I didn't have a question. I can't remember what I was going to ask him. It's very hard to think of just one question. What would you ask him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, back then I was still obsessed with, the R plus L equals J.
Yeah,
but no, I mean, never get an answer to that. Like, so
never going to reveal anything as
I think I was going to ask him something about Dunk and Egg, so it wasn't going to be a Game of Thrones thing.
Yeah. Oh God, I'd have to think about that one. There'd be a million questions that I could ask.
Yeah.
You'd want to try and ask him something that was that didn't seem too obvious, but maybe revealed a lot in the answer. I don't know. You have to be quite clever with what you and I'm sure he's been asked a million questions like that before. I'm
sure nobody has asked him, was he good at maths in school? I married a unique man.
And was he?
He said he wasn't. No. And we got totally distracted. They were just chatting about it, and I was like, but it was good. It was fine. It was funny. It was funny. It was actually probably more memorable in the long run. He's after giving me the thumbs up just to confirm that in the chat.
There's
Thank you,
Mr. Cronall in the chat. Hi, Mr. C. Great question. So back to Daenerys. So we can see her in Dragonstone. There's this really kind of romantic, epic scene of her touching the ground. It's a very kind of papal moment. And you can see her in the paint, in the kind of court that she's on a throne. Looks like she's on a throne. She's got the painted table with the map, and it looks like she's pulling something down. She's pulling like the kind of some blankets or something down, for maybe it reveals some of the old dragon.
I think it might be the Baratheon banners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because Renly
yeah.
was there
Yeah,
before, right? It might be the Baratheon banners that she's pulling down.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that might... there are lots of skeletons as well, you know, like the bones of dragons past in Dragonstone. So, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting location for Daenerys.
Do you think she'll move the capital to Dragonstone?
Well, I think there are going to be two power bases, and it's going to basically, one of the huge plots, I think, in the season is going to be the War of the Queen. So between Cersei and Daenerys, and she says, "I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms, and I will." So that's, you know, declaring war, which we knew was going to happen.
But she
Yeah,
also said she wanted to break the wheel, and
yeah.
that she's open to people asking for freedom as well, whatever that means. So will she want to rule from a place that's called King's Landing? When she, I mean, I think Dany's going to be pretty pissed off that she's not the first queen either. I think she's going to be
Yes.
really, really pissed off
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I'm really, it's so disappointing that you didn't get the whole quote from Maggie the Frog in the TV show. And there's lots of the Valonqar quote was missing from that. And did she say in the, just remind me because I can't remember, my head's a bit foggy at the moment, whether or not she mentioned about a younger, more beautiful queen will come and take everything away? Did she say that in the show?
I think so. Lisa, do you remember that?
I think she did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she said it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I think Cersei took that to mean Marjorie when she came around and was with Tommen and Joffrey. That's what I think she took from it. So now she's got the younger, beautiful queen out of the way. She thinks, "Oh, I'm all good now."
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that Dany's on her way across.
Oh, so. And can you imagine, just from a vanity perspective, and knowing how crazy Cersei is, she's just descending swiftly into madness. The minute, almost the second she gets rid of the this up and coming queen that's going to take her place, she can't sit and rest for a second before, oh my God, here's the reality. This is really what the prophecy was about. I mean, we don't know that yet. There could be other queens further up in the north that could be the real, queen that's more beautiful, that will take everything away from you.
Yeah, I think that could easily be Sansa, actually. I think
that's very true too. Yeah.
And the Valonqar thing, I think maybe it was just too much to do in the show, but I think that could still be referring to someone that isn't one of her own brothers. I think it could be the Hound or something like that, or it could be somebody who is wearing the Hound's face, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah. It's Tea Baby. Hi, Tea Baby.
Hi, Tea Baby. Hi, Amber.
And Amber. Wow. Oh, thanks for coming, everyone. This is lovely. You must have seen me spamming Google for the last few days to say that we were doing this live stream. But yes, thank you and welcome, everyone. Where else do we want to talk about? Is there anything else that we want to say about Dany? I agree with what you're saying there, Catherine. It's going to be an easy fight. She's got massive firepower with the. Have you seen the size of the dragons this season? Oh my God, they're like they've been described as the size of jumbo jets. And there's a few shots where you can just see people. You can see Yara looking up in the sky. Everyone seems to be kind of going like this and looking upwards. That could be a number of things, but 3 humongous jumbo jet-sized dragons swooping around Westeros is going to be that's going to ruffle some feathers.
Drogon is shaping up to be one of the biggest dragons ever.
Yeah,
by the looks of it. Yeah. So that's going to be epic. I do buy into somebody else riding a dragon by the end of this season. I think Tyrion is going to ride a dragon this season. I really do think that. I think that would be amazing. And actually, this is total tinfoil, but I like a bit of tinfoil. I wouldn't be surprised if that scene with Jaime marching across or charging across the battlefield is him coming with Tyrion on a dragon or something. I don't know. In my head, that's like, but maybe not. But yeah, I because they haven't seen each other, right? So like,
yeah,
I don't want Jaime and Cersei to die without seeing Tyrion again.
I'm almost as excited about the reaction of Jaime and Cersei seeing Tyrion as I am for a Stark kid reunion. It's kind of 50-50 for me. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. Yeah, Marie's saying the dream he has a dream, doesn't he? Tyrion dreams a lot about dragons, and when he was younger, he used to dream about dragons a lot. So there are lots of theories about Tyrion possibly having some Targaryen blood, and being.
He talks about that in the first series as well, right? About being obsessed with dragons and stuff, I believe.
Yeah.
Do you remember, Lisa? Because I'm kind of deferring to Lisa on this because I get confused between the book and the show all the time. So
I can't recall if it was in the first season or not. I know it was definitely last season when he was talking about the dragons a lot, but I don't know if it was in the first season. I'm not sure. I can't remember that far back.
And Tyrion also designs the saddle, doesn't he, for Bran? When Bran has his fall, so that maybe he can engineer himself a little saddle for one of the dragons. I don't know. That'll be really exciting.
That's why I'm worried for the survival of at least one of the dragons, because they haven't set anybody else up as a potential dragon rider in the show, at least. So I feel like if there's going to be riders, it's just going to be Dany and Tyrion. For me, that's just how I feel. I don't know. Maybe people in the chat can disagree with me on that one.
Am I mute? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Marie is saying yes. He sorted out the sewers at Castle Rock. Yeah, he's a bit of an engineer, Tyrion. So. T Baby's saying that she thinks Jon will ride a dragon. So there's lots of possibilities of other dragon riders. That'd be really amazing to see that in the next season. I just want to come back to the Ironborn for a second, because all I saw was Theon's one of my favourite characters, just because he's so messed up, and he's so he's just in the books and in the TV show. He's just a bit of a tragic character, so I'm always quite interested in Theon. You just see two little flashes of him, and it looks like in the first trailer and the second trailer they look very similar. It looks like he's got bits of he's in the middle of a battle or something, and he's maybe on a boat somewhere. Has anyone got any thoughts at all about what's going to be happening to Theon? Do you think Theon may survive? Has Theon got a role to play in the next season, do we think?
I feel like it will be a very George thing to do, and a very show thing to do, to have Theon survive. I think it's the ultimate suffering, and I'm very worried about Yara. Very worried about Yara. And I think a lot of book readers were very disappointed with the Dorne storyline. I was more disappointed with the Ironborn storyline.
Yeah.
I like Euron for a show character. He's fine, but we were waiting so long for that, like from Feast. So I felt like that was a bit disappointing. However, I do think this is the first time since season 2, no, season 3, right? That we're going to have like a kind of a naval battle, but we'll have a full-on naval battle. So I'm really looking forward to that. And they kind of teased that with the dragons, Dany destroying the ships last year. So yeah, actually that's another thing. Dothraki and a naval battle. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's going to be lots of battles and lots of fighting in the next season. But yeah, I'm really interested to find out what happens. I hope they redeem themselves, because I completely agree with you, Catherine. I was so looking forward to the King's Moot in the TV show, and it was just a complete letdown. That's where the King's Moot, Lisa, is where it's a kind of old tradition amongst the Ironborn where they decide who the next leader is going to be. So after Balon died, and it was just a complete letdown, and then Yara and Theon ran away.
Maybe Lisa can shed some light on this. I kind of felt it was poorly acted as well, that scene. Like, I just felt like even if I didn't know that scene from the books, it just wasn't a very well executed scene. Like, the location was beautiful, but there was something very disjointed, or I don't know. What did you think of it?
To be honest with you, the guy who plays, what's his name? Euron?
Euron, yeah.
I don't like him as an actor. I don't think he's a very good actor. So I don't know. Maybe his acting had something to do with it. It just kind of seemed disjointed, maybe, from the rest of what was going on. But I don't like him as an actor.
Yeah, it seemed as though he was kind of trying to be a bit of a comedy character, but fearsome at the same. I agree. I just don't really feel that it works. Whereas in the books, Euron is a creepy, horrible, scary, just evil character. He's just completely nothing like the show. Although I have heard somewhere that the actor who plays Euron was saying that, there's a range of emotions this next season from Euron. You're going to see much more from Euron. So, we'll see.
I'm not looking forward. There's a scene with Yara making out with your one from Dorne. What's about?
Ilaria Sand.
Yeah. I don't know why and why or what. I guess they're all going to be with Dany though, right? They're all going to arrive together. So, but I don't know. I just, as you said earlier on, Claire, we have 13 episodes left. So they're going to be wrapping up Tyrell, Dorne, Ironborn. That's kind of all going to be wrapped up. And in a way, I'm kind of glad. As a book reader, I'm glad, because I cannot wait for those storylines in the books. I might even be more excited about those storylines than I am about some of the bigger storylines, especially the Ironborn storyline. So I'm not too disappointed. But there is that shot of Theon collapsing onto the beach in the second trailer. That was the second trailer, right? That's a great shot, just cinematic. Yeah. Like it's really great.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I was talking to Kyle today from Azora High, his channel, and he was saying, don't worry too much about the fact that there are only 6 episodes, because in terms of running time, it's still the same. You're still getting enough. You're still getting bang for your buck in terms of minutes and running time. So we might be able to get more detail into each of those episodes than perhaps we have done in some of the shorter episodes in another season. I don't know how it's going to flow. I'm interested to see how they kind of run together, these 6 episodes, whether they're going to be kind of almost standalone episodes, how it's all going to kind of hang together as a season. But he was also saying that when he went to the Con of Thrones recently, that he spoke to some of the cast and crew, and they were, they would say this anyway, but it's like, this is going to be the best season. Season 7 is going to be completely epic. It's going to just blow your mind compared to the other seasons that we've seen in the past. So I'm just interested for that, really. I think.
Yeah, we were talking to an extra on our Game of Thrones tour. He said this season is just, they've really pushed it out, especially with the CGI. But I'm kind of hoping, because the trailer was so action packed, just the way you're saying how it'll hang together. I'm kind of hoping that like we said earlier, that's kind of misleading, and I hope we get like a lot of great conversations in rooms again, because I kind of feel like that's one of the strengths of Game of Thrones, and I really want to see those great conversations in rooms, especially when we've so many people coming together. Like I want Euron to come to Dany at some stage, and I want them to talk about that. Like I think that would be a great conversation to see. Oh, we've lost you, Claire.
I'm just laughing at a comment from somebody in the chat there. I don't know. Yeah, but does anyone want to say anything else about what happens in that trailer? It's a 2-minute trailer and it's packed with all sorts of things. We see Dondarrion and his flaming sword. We see it looks like Bran. I mean, that's another thing that we can talk about is Bran doesn't have summer anymore. So how's he going to manage there with his like walking and things like that? What's going to happen there, do we think? Anyone want to say anything about Bran?
Lisa, you go ahead.
Claire and I were kind of having a little discussion about the direwolves, and I said that I think Nymeria is going to come back. Fingers crossed. So maybe Nymeria will be his replacement for Summer, possibly.
I think that the shot of the ravens over the Night's King. I think Bran is going to out-warg everybody, and he'll be able to warg whole groups of animals and that would be cool. But
that'd be epic.
Birds in that sense. But yeah, I love Bran in the books, so I kind of guessing that when the Night's King touched him last season, that's going to be a problem I think that's going to be a problem from him going through the wall. So that would be interesting to see what they do with that. But yeah, Bran is something. There was something else I was going to say there now, and it's completely gone out of my head. Completely, it'll jump back into my head. Anything you want to add to the Bran thing, Claire?
Well, I'm a bit wary about Bran, to be honest. I think he's a bit of a dangerous character, and I think now that I don't know whether it makes him more or less vulnerable that he doesn't have Summer with him anymore. There's obviously going to be this big battle between, and it looks like it's going to be kind of almost a battle of wills between himself and the Night's King. So I'm just interested to see what the dynamics are going to be like if he ever sees any of his siblings again.
It's interesting that he, guys, sorry about the idiot that's in the chat. It's interesting that Bran already owned very, very quickly that he's Blood Raven, like at the end of the last season. Like he already, like to Mira, I'm Blood Raven. So he's already owning the fact that he's got these powers, and I wonder how much will that define his relation, how much will that affect his relationship? Yeah, the other thing I was actually thinking of as well, oh no, Lisa, we lost you there for a second. The one big thing that we haven't mentioned, potential Clegane Bowl.
Mm.
But I don't think that's going to be the Hound as we know the Hound. I think that'll be somebody else. I'm buying into the Arya steals the Hound.
Oh,
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
I'm completely wrong, but that would cover a lot of bases very quickly. Although she did they abandon the list completely in the show? Her list?
Arya's death list.
Yeah, or did they bring it back?
I think they brought it back. Like, I'm pretty sure she was after she killed. Oh my goodness, what was that guy's name?
Oh, yeah, in the brothel. What was he? Oh,
In the brothel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she's still got her list on her mind.
But she shortened it, right?
Oh yeah. She's managed to.
I really don't think she's going to be able to just slot back into normal life.
No.
And drink ale.
No.
With Sansa.
And with her new talents with the faceless man, why would she not, right? You've got that talent. You may as well use it.
How do you think they'll react to Rickon? Bran
the Starks, you mean?
Yeah, Bran and Arya. Do you think Bran will care? Do you think he'll be just a big picture kind of guy now?
Well, Sansa didn't seem that bothered. Do you think? In fact, nobody really seemed that bothered, and I was traumatized by that. I was like, even before that happened, when they brought Shaggy Dog's head in, it was like, no, I don't know, it's too small, that's not Shaggy Dog, and I refused to believe it completely. Did he even have any dialogue, Rickon, in the last season? So yeah, I think everyone seems to have just kind of shrugged the shoulders and gone, oh well. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Should have I think this is what's going to happen, though. They're going to just complete. I think we're going to see a cull of a lot of characters. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Claire, now. Our predictions for who's going to get the chop.
Well, yeah, let's do that actually, and then we can do some Q&A because it's getting quite late now. So we've said so far, just in our discussion, Littlefinger, a dragon. I'm guessing that. Do you want to? Which dragon? I don't think it'll be Drogon.
No,
probably
not Drogon.
One of the other ones. Yara, possibly. I think Theon's going to stick around. Do we think are we going to lose any more Stark children this season? That's what I want to know.
No,
I don't think so. Not this season.
Next season for sure, but not this season.
See, I think this all goes hand in hand with whether or not we whether or not we think we're going to see Nymeria, Arya's wolf. Will we see Nymeria next season? And I was talking to Kyle about this today, and I was saying that in the books, in Arya's very first chapter in the books, it kind of goes into detail about her relationship with Arya and how close she was to her wolf, and she named her after a warrior queen, and they both seem to have been pushed out of the pack, and I think if there are any compromising battles next season where we're thinking, maybe Nymeria will swoop in with the pack and kind of save the day, I think I've got a horrible feeling that Arya might not make it next season. I know that's don't come at me. I know that's really controversial, but I've got a feeling that towards the end, that might happen. What do you think?
I'm not sure can you hear me now? Because everything froze on me there for a second. I'm totally with you. I think Arya I think Arya is our bittersweet ending. I think definitely Arya. I can see the others surviving, but I definitely think Arya is next series or next season. I think she's not going to survive that. But just because I don't think she can't return to normality. There's not going to be like, you know, a little house on the prairie for her. Like it's just, or a little house by the wall. But I'm going to say something even more controversial than that, Claire. I don't think anybody that goes north of the wall with Jon will survive. I don't think any of them are coming back except for Jon.
Well, that will upset T-Baby.
I know. I'm sorry, T-Baby. I'm really sorry. Yeah. But I really feel that anybody who goes north of that wall, they're in for big trouble. Yeah. Sorry.
Can I just say a quick kind of admin housekeeping thing here? Oh, good, T-Baby's still there. I think I went a bit power crazy trying to delete that idiot's messages and remove and block him, and now I can't see anybody else's messages. I can't see any other messages in the chat. So, sweet, I can see that you're there. Hi, Anne. I can see that people are there, but I can't see. It just says view deleted messages. So I'm sorry if by any chance I've deleted somebody's.
I can see everybody, Claire. Maybe if you just refresh that window. It might be okay.
Yeah, possibly. I thought I'd just gone a bit power crazy and ended up kind of blocking and deleting everyone's.
With Cersei on it, I could hear the music. We just had an idiot in the chat, Lisa. It happens.
Yeah.
That means everybody that you can imagine that's cool. My beloved Davos, maybe even. I'm not looking forward to it. Somebody said, I saw Alt Shift X, his breakdown. I think it was the first trailer. Maybe T-Baby will know this. He suggested that maybe Gendry was north of the wall. That Gendry, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see any kind of sign of that, but yeah, that was it.
He's been rowing for a long time though, so you never know.
He's at hard home now at this stage. Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Is there anything? Oh, I think the Mountain could get it this season. Cersei might be left out the Mountain. If we do get the Clegane Bowl, which by the way, I think it was Marie said she's not into that Clegane Bowl thing, and I agree with you, but it's the TV show, I guess.
Right, okay, folks, let's move on to, so I think, have we done all, I mean, there's some kind of some of them are controversial death predictions there. Yes.
I have one more, actually, sorry, Claire. Grey Worm. I think Grey Worm is going to die.
Yeah, well, that kind of wouldn't surprise me. We're going to have to start cutting some of the cast down, and there's going to be some real sad goodbyes, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, if he's tied to, I'm really, really interested in this theory about Missandei being the betrayal.
Yeah, and I think that because they've hinted at the relationship there in the second trailer, something's happening. And I'm very worried, and we've seen a lot of Grey Worm in that trailer, and that's never a good thing. It's never a good thing when somebody gets too, especially a small character, like a secondary character, when they get too much airtime. Although we said that about Davos last season, I believe, because they were wheeling them out for all the interviews and the cons and everything, and he was okay. But I am worried about Grey Worm. And I do think Missandei will. Maybe that's why we haven't seen Varys. Maybe there's something will happen there. Maybe he'll find her out. Maybe she'll get rid of him. I don't know. I really do think Missandei is going to betray Dany in some way.
Yeah,
because she's getting a bit dull, that character, to be honest. That's another controversial thing. I'll shut up.
See, that it doesn't surprise me too much because she used to play that actress used to play She was in a soap opera here, like a teen soap opera. Hollyoaks you'll have heard of, Catherine, I'm sure. And she played, yeah, a bit of a weird character in that as well, to be honest. So I don't know. You'd think butter wouldn't melt, but you know, in the books particularly, she's a very, very clever young woman. Let's move on to let's spend a bit of time doing Q&A before we wrap things up. So if anybody has got any questions in the chat, I think we've got, how many people have we got here now? I think we've got, can we tell? I don't know, 15 possibly. Yeah, maybe 15. So if anyone's got any questions they want to ask, question time, woohoo. I can see your comments, Catherine. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions about Game of Thrones or about House Polished, will Jon reunite with Arya this season? T-Baby's asking, so I can see that. Oh yeah, I think Peace and everyone, I think, cried at Hold the Door. Lisa, you were saying that you rewatched that episode recently and it just brought everything back up again. It's, yeah. We've gone through some death predictions. We've just done those a few minutes ago, but just very quickly, we said some controversial ones. We said Grey Worm, Arya, Yara, Littlefinger probably isn't as controversial.
Dragon.
And a dragon, yeah, and a dragon.
And Ghost. Sorry.
Ooh.
I threw in that one at the end there.
If there's going to be another direwolf, I would say we're going to see and then say goodbye to Nymeria. But rather than, yeah, I think Ghost might stick around for a little bit longer because to me, he just feels a lot more symbolic of like the old gods and old magic, and I think he's going to be left in, I mean, you've got to think about the budget as well with the direwolves, but I think he's just going to be left in Winterfell to kind of protect Sansa.
Well, thinking about the budget with the direwolves, Ghost is the hardest one to do, so it wouldn't surprise me if they killed Ghost and then like in a later episode it ends with Nymeria or something. I mean, I don't think even a budget is I don't think budget is an obstacle anymore, though, is it? Like, I mean, they're spreading the next one out over the next 2 years, so.
Yeah, and they've got a much bigger budget per episode.
Someone else,
I don't know. Look,
Marie asked if we're going to see a vision of the Rhaegar-Lyanna marriage this season.
Well, hasn't Rhaegar been cast? Or am I dreaming myself? I'm sure I've heard or read somewhere that.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
That yeah, there's been some. If anyone knows a bit more than that, because I've really tried to and keep as spoiler free as possible.
Claire, you're going to be very disappointed in Varnish Vixen's question. She asked, "Is the Sam storyline over?"
Oh. Well, hello, Varnish Vixen. We've got a nail polish person here, so hello. I don't think so. I think Sam's going to find out a lot more about what's going on in the Citadel. I think he's going to find out a lot more information from that huge library that we saw. I did read, although I've not got like huge plot spoilers for the next season, I do believe that a Maester is going to be cast and like a kind of high up grand Archmeister will be cast for next season, and that will relate much more to Sam's storyline. So I don't think he's going to be going back to the north anytime soon. But I think Sam and his family, so, you know, we've already met Sam's father, and I think he might feature as well in, like, you know, the kind of power struggles with Cersei, for example. So in answer to that question, I don't think Sam's storyline is over.
I should give a shout out to Mr. C here, because that was his favorite scene, and that's the one he rewatched over and over again last year. The scene where Sam shows up to
at the Citadel.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Any more questions, anyone?
There was one question that I had for you guys, actually.
Yes.
I said it to you already. What do you think the reaction will be throughout Westeros? Like, will the news about Dany spread pretty quickly? Will we get that very quickly at the beginning? Will everybody hear about it? Because everybody has to like hear about Winter as well, right?
I think with 3 dragons, it's not going to take much time for that news to spread, right?
Yeah.
And here she comes with 3 dragons.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it's going to take long for that news to spread through Westeros at all.
You're going to see these big jumbo jets.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, do you think they'll go into that much? Like, will they? Like, I'm really interested in seeing how people react to that.
Well, in both trailers, in the first trailer and the second trailer, I think the first one it's Davros and the second one it's Jon, makes reference to, you know, there has to be that we've got to work together, otherwise no one will. But you know, a skeleton will be sat on the Iron Throne, so you know, forging pacts and things like that. So I think we were talking about this earlier, but I think just in terms of like, you know, a popularity contest and like a war of queens, I don't think Cersei's very popular. I don't think she really ever has been, but I think she's going to be pretty well received, and I think she'll be forging in alliances left, right, and centre. I mean, maybe she will mirror the history of, you know, the first Targaryen, Aegon. Yeah,
it's probably going to be a case of people. If I was a small folk, I'd be kind of thinking, better the Mad King, you know, better the Mad Family, you know, than like Cersei, who actually did blow up the. Marie has a question as well. Olenna is going to die, but will she implicate Littlefinger? Gosh, I love Olenna. I don't want to see her dying, but yeah, we should have put her on our predictions as well, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about her implicating Littlefinger. I'm not sure it'll matter.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to. I think he's gonna, you know, he's got. I mean, I don't think any of that. Just think about geographically where he is at the moment, the location that he's in. He's surrounded by Stark kids that have got, you know, no one's really got any loyalties or alliances to Littlefinger, and I don't think, you know, Sansa's learned a lot throughout the last 6 seasons, and I don't think anything that Littlefinger says to her washes anymore, really. So yeah,
So I killed off loads and loads of characters, but do you think we'll get any brand new characters like Howland Reed or anything like that? I kind of feel we won't. I kind of feel they're going to just leave that. But I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm just thinking of the books. With George saying that there's not going to be any new characters in the next books, but
although they did make quite a big deal about Bran feeling almost betrayed about seeing Howland Reed stab Arthur Dayne in the back at the Tower of Joy. Like, I wonder, will that change Bran's attitude to Starks, and because he was really like just. That was a huge deal for him that he was stabbed in the back, and that wasn't the way Ned had always told them.
Yes, yeah, that's true. I was just thinking then actually, if we do.
So like, it's interesting that they emphasized it so much.
Yeah, I think if we do see any new characters, it will be in Bran's, you know, visions, flashbacks, and kind of time traveling ventures. So that would be quite interesting. I would like to see, but he's a real mystery, Howland Reed, in the books and in the show. So it would be nice for him to make an appearance. It's so, I mean, every year, And I don't think we're getting season 8 next year. There's going to be a skip, isn't there? There's going to be a gap, so that's going to be even stranger for the next season. But
hopefully we'll have a book.
Yeah, but every time I think something happens where I think I would never, ever, ever have predicted that happening at the beginning of the season. I would never have predicted, like Shireen, for example. That was just like, that took me quite a while to just even accept that happened. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I don't think there's any more questions, and it's getting really quite late here. And we did say originally that we were going to try and keep this to half an hour, which is laughable.
And this is the trailer, Claire.
And this is just the trailer. Can you imagine for the 90-minute shows? Yeah, strap yourself in, Lisa. But yes, I'm sure we'll have a lot more juicy details to talk about. Thank you very much for your questions, everyone. Just to wrap up by saying that you can find us reviewing episode 1 next Monday at around about the same time. Discuss between yourselves, whose channel are we going to have this on?
I can do it next Monday if you like.
It's not a good idea because I'm still not okay with the tech.
No problem, because the following week it's going to be a bit tricky for me, but yeah, definitely I can do it next Monday for sure.
Okay.
I should say actually to everybody in the chat, I usually go under my Catherine Cronin tag, so most of you will probably know me from the other live chats, but usually I'm Catherine Cronin. This is my nail polish channel. I'm mixing the communities.
A little nail polish community, yeah. Okay, yes, Marie, I will provide links, and there's also for nail polish people who are joining us here, we have a collaboration video that between the 3 of us that's coming out this Sunday. So that's just nail polishes, the favorite character, favorite house, that kind of thing. So we've got an interesting, I really enjoyed doing that one actually. So check out our channels for that collaboration on Sunday, and we will we'll hopefully see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.